Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the official Hammer Time podcast. As always, I am joined by my recapping duo, Mr. Jake Dozier, and today, ladies and gentlemen, big episode today. We have a multitude of topics we could start out with, but I think we both want to start out with our biggest hate watch of the century.
Just yours.
Just mine, okay. We have a lot to talk about, though, today. We have yet another SEC coaching carousel shakeup, as well as a couple of games to kind of hit back on. And we're going to give our mock 12-team bracket. Haven't done one of these in a little bit. Playoff bracket, I believe, comes out 2 weeks. Or not bracket, poll.
Next Tuesday.
Isn't okay. So next week, then. Yeah, so we'll give our first one, and I think we can probably alternate between ours and theirs just to kind of get feedback on whatever we lean versus what the committee's actually saying. So it'll be cool to see what we kind of think and versus how either far off we are or if we're actually, pretty on par. So starting off first, obviously the lead news that I didn't expect to happen that fast, but it really did. Sunday around afternoon-ish, whatever, or Sunday night, technically, LSU football program held a team meeting in the afternoon, maybe a few hours later, released a note that Brian Kelly was dismissed as the head football coach. Shortly after, looks like offensive coordinator Joe Sloan was also relieved of his duties as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another hefty buyout for the SEC. So, we have some record-breaking numbers. I believe I looked on Twitter is $160 million total this year upon buyouts. That is not including these coaches' staffs. Keep in mind, this is insanity. The amount of this quick happening before November. No, this is not even November. So we have a lot to talk about. I'll let Jake kind of start us off, and as far as thoughts go, and then we'll kind of just ramble on and kind of just trash talk our lovely Brian Kelly.
You're much more of a Brian Kelly hater than I am.
That's why I'm letting you go first.
That's a fair point. I will take a slightly different approach, I'm sure. This was coming. I think everyone that follows college football or knows anything, I think even casuals would have known that Brian Kelly was getting fired from LSU at some point this year. It's interesting to note that he was not fired by wording. He was relieved of his duties while a buyout number was continuing to be discussed. Obviously, he's not with the program. They're just going to try and figure out what number he wants out of the $54 million I think he's owed or whatever. It's an insane number. It's not shocking that he failed because I think a lot of people, when he was hired, thought this could go this way. You signed him to a 10-year deal. That's on you to begin with. That's ridiculous that you would even think about doing that. The AD that hired him is still there. He's made one terrible hire in basketball and a terrible hire in college football. That's your two money-making sports as a university. So personally, don't think he should be involved here when making this next hire. Going back to Brian Kelly, you can't. I credit him for trying to fix the defense by hiring Blake Baker, bringing in secondary help this year again, and fixing what was the problem the past 3 years during his tenure at LSU. I credit him there. You also had to realize how bad this offense was going to be when you did not go get offensive line help in the portal. You kept an offensive coordinator that personally was not very good. So, and I know a lot of LSU fans. I've talked to a couple today and yesterday. They're thrilled. They love it. They are so excited that he's gone. It's, a great thing for LSU if they can make the right hire, which is something I doubt personally with the guy who's in charge. They don't have a president right now, so it's not like they have a guy who can hire a search party or anything like that. I've heard Lane Kiffin. I think it'd be crazy if Lane Kiffin didn't take it. personally. Florida's one job. LSU is a very, very different job.
Much more, yeah.
It is a at worst, top 10 job in the country. Florida's maybe top 20. So,
yeah,
I think if Lane was offered the job, I think he'd take it. I also think that they should offer it. I've heard James Franklin, I've heard Dan Lanning, and I've heard John Summerall. So, I would take any four of those names personally if I was an LSU fan. I think all four of those are better than the coach you just had. So, but at the end of the day, looking back on the Brian Kelly era, I know you're going to talk about the stat of the three coaches before him, I'm sure. So I'm not going to spoil that. But you cannot it's insanity what he did. You cannot repeatedly have the same mistakes and run the same things back and not change a single thing and expect a different result. And offensively, that's what they did. They did not bring in the portal help on the offensive line that they should have. It was cool that they brought in Barry and Brown. What has he done this year? Like, we haven't gotten playmakers the ball. This is the fourth year in a row they can't run the ball. I think Jaden Daniels covered up a lot of these mistakes in Brian Kelly's first year, yeah. A lot of philosophical mistakes that he had. Yeah. So for LSU fans, you have to be happy about it. It's the right move. I'm glad it happened now instead of waiting this out. You immediately just made your job probably the best job on the market, which helps. You have now kind of screwed Florida in a way. You could have potentially screwed Auburn if Auburn were to let go of Hugh Freeze, Arkansas, all these jobs. So it's a good, smart way to get ahead of the curve, especially in a cycle that is going to be insanity. So, and a question I do have for some of these guys that are on the hot seat now, when we're talking about Hugh Freeze, when we talk about Mark Stoops, when we talk about, some people even in different conferences, do they now wait it out with LSU, Penn State, Florida all being open and waiting a year and trying to then get the best coach in that next cycle would be something I'd be interested. It'll be interesting to see in the next couple of months if that's something that happens now and what Auburn may do and things like that. So Brian Kelly era was a failure. Honestly, it was a failure from the start, especially from all the behind the scenes, the things I've been hearing and reading over the past day or two. So you can't get blown out at home 3 years in a row, pretty much. If you think back to Tennessee 2022, you think back to Alabama last year, and you think to A&M this year, all with, just lackluster efforts. So I think that it's the best job on the market, and I think that LSU is going to get a damn good coach if they just don't get in their own way.
What are we going to do oh my. All right. This is laughable. I've had a great last couple of last 48 hours. Grass ain't always greener. That's the best. That's probably the best thing that I can say as a fan of Notre Dame, first of all. Now, as a college football perspective, this is just laughable at this point. Like, I genuinely, where do you go from here? I mean, there is a lot of angles that you can do. It was 1000% the right move. It was bound to happen. Honestly, I'm more impressed of how soon and how quick they acted on it. From hearing the fans, hearing the community, they had the state government. Like, when you have a state governor involved, things tend to get messy real fast. And sure enough, I mean, they didn't waste any time. So props to them. Like, that's one of like the best things that they could have done. It is the best thing they could have done because this season is just disappointing. Like, it's up there with Penn State as one of the most disappointing years in the entire country. Like, from, I don't want to say national championship hopes because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one out of us three who had that ticket, but they were said they were said to compete more. Like, we look at the Clemson game, look back on it, great win on the road, gritty, it's tough win. Looking back on it, that was terrible.
I mean, look at every win
then,
they have. Look at every win they
it's
have.
nothing. It's absolutely nothing. They like the expectations at this program are just way too high to a standard of what they've been given these last 4 years roughly.
3.
And yeah, I don't know. He might retire after this. Honestly, I would. Dude's got $54 million in his pocket now. I'd peace out and just call it a career at that point. Personally, I'd be shocked if he takes another job.
I do think he. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like he's
old, dude.
Yeah, but these coaches are like 1%ers of like failing is not an option, and even with how he acted at LSU, I do feel like there's got to be a part of him that wants to succeed somewhere else, but maybe not.
It's got to be somewhere smaller though. Like, there's no way that he takes on another program like that big. You know what I mean?
I don't think another team would hire him.
There's no way.
Power 4. I think it'd have to be a Group of 5 team.
Right. Like somewhere, I don't want to say he's going back to UC, but like somewhere along the lines of like same tier as UC probably would be a better option. Just somewhere that he can retire and have a little bit more chillaxed fan base.
Yes.
What concerns me with LSU's team as a whole and their program going forward, you've got a lot of guys that you need to keep in your like grasp, because there's way too many out there, whether that's recruits, whether that's portals, because that 15-day portal with the new rule is going to open, what is it? I think 5 days after they hire their next guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the NCAA's window is the 2nd of January through 15th, something around there. I don't know. It's like 2 weeks. I don't know, man. It was a bad hire from the start. It was never a good fit. We warned a lot of people pretty much about how this is going to go, and they for sure thought that they were just going to get the better end of it. But yeah, at this point, you're 1000% the top dog. So props to them. I guess it is a good move knowing that who is available in this coaching carousel and who you can get. Blank check. Like, you're the top spot now. So I mean, like you said, at this point, any of those 4, and arguably even some more after that, are more than likely an upgrade. It's hard to downgrade after something like this. So at this point, great move by the university as a whole. It's just, yes, it's a lot of money, but they know the standard, and so they're going to push for that standard. And there's a big recruiting push, especially for the SEC title and their first playoff berth since 2019. I mean, like they're seeking a lot. A lot's at stake here. So I mean, this next hire's got to be a really, really altering move. Where I don't think Woodard should be involved whatsoever. I mean, as it stands, I think from the reading that I've done as of right now, they're not crazy high on the 2026 cycle in terms of recruiting, just outside the top 10. But the 25 class, I know they were top 10. However, that was that was after Underwood flipped, because they were number 1. But yeah, could you imagine if he would have stayed now at this point?
He'd be gone.
That'd be, yeah. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, this is one of the larger buyouts that we've seen. I think it's the second highest. It's higher than Franklin's. I know that. Jimbo's still up there. Jimbo's high 70s. But this is third?
Second, I think.
Yeah. That's tough. But yeah, I don't know. As far as candidates go, you can throw any name out there that we've heard already in terms of the Florida candidacy. It's going to be the same names more than likely. But again, this job's taking the credit or taking the cake for top dog any day of the week. It's not even close. So, like we said, Lane, we said Summerall. There's a couple other names in the mix that we've obviously heard. I know everybody's going to go after. Not going to be Franklin, but Freeman's also always going to be on the hot boards.
That's one that LSU wouldn't go for.
That's going to be really funny, though. I've heard, I don't know.
I promise you they'll call Lanning.
They should. They absolutely should.
And LSU's a top 5 job. That could be the one job that pulls him from Oregon. That's all I'm going to say.
It absolutely could.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. And I don't think it should. I don't think Lanning should leave Oregon. But that would be the one.
How far are you putting guys like with a grain of salt, believe me. But just how he left the program on a good note, how far is Joe Brady down on this list?
Low.
You think?
I think you stop at Lane.
Oh, that's for 1,000%. But it's just, I'm hoping that he does take that, honestly. Just because at that point, the carousel starts, and then you look at who's going elsewhere after the fact. I mean, you still have Eli on the table. You still have Summer on the table who's looking for a power 4 job. There's a lot on the table here. This hire could change a lot. Whoever it is. So I was just curious. I know that it's hard to leave the NFL after that kind of fact.
But, I think he's more likely to get an NFL head coaching job anyways.
Could be
soon. So I doubt he would even leave. I also would look at you want a proven, not even proven, but you're going to want a guy that's been a head coach already. So I feel like hiring Brady would be like really going the other way, which I don't think would be a good idea.
I think a guy who's going to pick up a lot of steams on a lot of hot boards this year that's being overlooked still. I think a lot of people are going to be calling Brent Key. The better that he does, depending on how this year ends, maybe that could be the difference. But I think a lot of people are going to start calling this guy and kind of realizing where he's at and how he leads a program. I wouldn't be opposed to it at all, though. I think he's a great guy. I think he'd be a great hire just about anywhere.
Agreed. I think he would be really good. I think I'd be interested to see how these coaching searches view like a Summerall or a Golish versus a Key.
I would like to see it personally. I just want them to get their shot. I don't think there's anybody more deserving than a guy like Summerall or a guy like Golish. Yeah, that'd be really fun to see. If that's all the thoughts that you have
about bye Brian Kelly.
Very happy. Good move though, the right move and the good move. So
it was.
We'll continue. Didn't know if you want to do the mock bracket first or if you want to go over some of the games this week. There wasn't really a whole lot to go over this weekend, really, other than some of the stuff that we kind of, I don't want to say expected because I for sure didn't expect a 20-point win, but that's going to fall into the same category.
Nothing shocking out of Saturday, upset wise or anything like that. Nothing that moves the needle a ton.
Other than our bets kind of going on the miss.
I sucked. I'll put my hand up. Worst weekend I've ever had betting, so we're gonna have to.
It'll be all right.
Dig back in.
I don't know.
Find some winners there, but yeah. I mean, got mostly what we expected out of the big games. QB injuries, Bo Prabula out most of this year, if not all of this year. Scary, probably kills Missouri playoff chances, so kind of mark them off. It seems like we're getting a bit of a clearer picture in the SEC now. I think this week will also help a ton. So I think next week we'll kind of break down conference by conference, going through playoff locks, playoff hopefuls, dead and stuff like that. I think would be the best way to do next week's recap.
Probably. I think next week we're going to start seeing a lot more of these conference title favorites kind of pick up a lot of steam. And you might start seeing some of these. I know there's a couple of them already, but some of them might going from decently lower plus money to heavy favorite in terms of minus odds. I don't know. I guess I'll just say this: most impressive team of the week by far, not even close. my opinion, I think it's either between Georgia Tech and Texas A&M. I think both of these teams are just being overlooked still. I'll just say that.
I think it's A&M.
Marcel Reed's being way overlooked for a Heisman opportunity. That might have just solidified him as a finalist, honestly. Like, that was unbelievable. Same thing for Haynes King, probably being overlooked as well. And then,
Absolutely being overlooked.
Those were probably the two teams that stuck out to me the most. Yeah, nothing crazy though. I don't really think a lot of it, like you said, was really expected.
Go Cougs.
Group of what in the world? Group of 5 playoff kind of shaking up a little bit as well now. South Florida eliminated. Memphis takes the full reign until they play Tulane, which is going to be a massive game there. And then at
Tulane's
some point,
got a big one this week.
Yes.
UTSA.
So Group of 5 is going to be fun. But Big 12 also. Big 12 is going to have a big last couple weeks as well. This is going to be really cool to see who's kind of final 2, I guess, towards the last 2 weeks of the season, because they're all pretty much neck and neck as what it seems like right now.
Yes. Biggest game of the year will be 2 weeks from the next Saturday, BYU, Texas Tech.
That's going to be probably fun.
Biggest Big 12 game of the year.
That'll be fun. But yeah, that's like I said, not really much to go over in terms of game wise, but we'll dive into our mock, which is just a simple 12-team mock-up of who we think currently of right now should be in, as it stands currently, and then potentially some first 4 outs.
Oh yes, I didn't do that.
And kind of go from there. So we can kind of just go. You just want to go by 4, so like 1 through 4, recap, and then kind of, I don't want to say debate, but just kind of discuss.
Yes,
and of course,
that works with me.
Obviously, love to hear you guys' feedback on this one, because this is a hot topic. I don't want to say early into the year, but this time of year, it feels like everybody feels like they have their predictions so in set. So if you guys have anything in terms of predictions, by all means, comment below. Let us know who you have, and please explain to me why you think that you know ball better than us.
I also would like to point out, this is right now. We are not predicting anything. This is just if we were on the committee and we had to release a playoff ranking right now. This is how we do it off the body of work that has been the past 8 weeks or 9 weeks. We're not projecting anything. Nothing.
Please. Yeah, please don't flame me.
Yeah. No, flame Kid. Definitely.
Yeah, you might be able to. Yeah.
Yeah,
we can do the first 4.
Yeah, go ahead. You throw your first 4 out there.
So my first 4, I will have 2 of the Power 4 champions, obviously. 1 and 2, I don't really think is going to be much of a debate. I have Ohio State at my number 1. That is your Big Ten champion. They should be roughly a double-digit favorite over these next 4 games, I think, honestly, and it's not going to be fairly close. Obviously, the one game that you look forward to is Thanksgiving weekend is against Michigan, and that's going to be the one that kind of keeps you as your 1 seed, as your overall seed. Number 2, nothing short, is going to be Alabama. This is my SEC champ. South Carolina, they kind of gave them another fight. I mean, they were preseason, number 13 for a reason. They're a good team. They're scrappy. And Williams-Brice isn't easy. So, I mean, obviously, I kind of expected a dogfight. I was just really scared to play the 12.5 personally. But Bama's won 7 straight since losing their opener now and hasn't lost in conference play. But naturally, they have to play LSU, have to play Oklahoma next month, and then they go to Auburn. So a couple of traps in line still, potentially. But as it stands right now, they're the clear number 2. I don't really think it's up for a contest. Number 3 is also no contest, in my opinion, now, and that's Indiana. Mendoza is Mendoza. That's another one of my Heisman finalists. As it stands right now, personally, if they get to Indy, they secured a first-round bye. Not even close. It shouldn't even be up for discussion. So that's my number 3. And then A&M is my number 4 now. SEC's last unblemished team through these first couple of months. And they've got yet another scrappy road win. And I mean, this team, The only thing that I'm like, why do we have an 8-0 team at number 4? You know what I mean? Like, I was wrong. I would admit, I said this team was not going to be a top 15 team. But I mean, here we are. We might expect a loss coming next month, maybe, perhaps 2 if they get to Atlanta. I genuinely don't know. This team is good though. Like, there's a very good chance that they might be a 1 loss. I don't know, but time will tell. Still a decently tough schedule ahead. So as of right now, again though, Aggies at number 4.
We are different, so I like
Really?
this.
Oh,
Yes,
dang. Okay.
So to me personally, wins matter, losses matter. So who you lose to, when you lose to, those kind of things, they matter to me. So
That's fair.
Indiana's my number 1 seed. I think they have the best win so far this year, personally. I think going on the road and handling Oregon is currently the best win in the country. So that you haven't lost yet. I know the schedule has been very easy, but you faced your toughest test, not to mention destroying Illinois. So personally, I'm putting Indiana as my number 1, Ohio State number 2. You can flip flop these any way you want. They've been impressive as well. They've handled business. No flashy kind of wins, but they've done what they've had to do against the schedule that they've had. It's not their fault that they don't play. I mean, they beat Texas, but we've seen that Texas is very vulnerable this year. So at the time, that was the best win. I've now flipped that to Indiana. At number 3, I have A&M. They proved everything they needed to prove to me on Saturday. Going into that environment, facing adversity in the first half with the pick in the end zone, the blocked punt, all those things, and blowing the doors off of them in the second half is very impressive to me. So I put A&M 3, and my number 4 is gonna raise some eyebrows. It's BYU.
Okay. I was expecting. Okay.
Wins and losses matter to me. They are undefeated. They have now beaten 5 straight Big 12 teams. I want to say they've only had 1 bye. So 5 straight wins. They haven't done it in the prettiest fashion, but everyone had them losing this week. They won the Holy War, and you have this spot against Matt Campbell, one of the best coaches, and you face adversity in the first half. You are down 21-7, and you're opportunistic. You get a pick. You return it to the house. You dominate them the rest of the game. That's important to me. Not having a loss is important to me. Now, I will tell you right now, they go to Texas Tech and lose, they could be out. So, these rankings change every week, but right now I'm putting the, undefeated in 1-2 very tough games, and I'm going to put them at 4.
I don't hate it. That's right. That's deserved, though. I mean, they've done everything that we've pretty much said that they couldn't. And again,
whoa, BYU backer here.
Sorry.
I love soaking.
Sorry. I turned back on my soaking.
Just a little bit.
Yes, you did. I'll put my hand up there, and I'll wear that one. Yeah, they are in my ranking though, so I'll keep that in mind.
Appreciate it.
5 through 9.
8.
Or 8, yeah. Number 5 I have is Georgia Tech. I mean, I don't really see why you can't right now as it stands. Again, same thing. Unbeaten. How can you put 1 loss or even I don't know. I don't know how you can, really. Again, as of it stands, I'm feeling really good about how this ACC champ ticket's looking. Because if they do win, their only loss coming during a rivalry weekend, if it even happens, there's a really solid chance it doesn't, as it looks like right now. We might get a first-round home game at Bobby Dodd.
Might get a first-round bye.
They very much so could also get a first-round bye. So that's
also
my 5.
Already hit their win total in not even
easiest bet of our lives. Easiest bet of our lives. Number 6, I have Oregon. I like where they're at right now. even after a very sloppy game. That was a little skeptical. I do have some flaws with them, but since Indiana and before that game, they pretty much have been borderline perfect. It is a positive sign that we know what they're capable of. I'm not going to necessarily just say that this game worries me because it really doesn't. I mean, yeah, Wisconsin is bad, but once again, Dan Lanning's Dan Lanning. That team is talented as all get out. I know that Dante Moore was he was out for not majority of the game, but a decent amount.
Yes.
From some hand. I don't even know. He was bleeding. Was he bleeding? I saw a clip, but I didn't watch the game.
I was switching back and forth. I just noticed the backup was in.
I don't know. I did some digging on Twitter, and there was like a towel over the dude's nose, and I don't know if he like broke it or I don't know what happened. But 7, same thing as you. I'm with BYU because as it stands right now, that is my projected Big 12 champ. Once again, I can't put a Texas Tech, I can't put a Georgia over them right now just because the win-loss record, it's going to take the cake. Since he's going to get their fair share of a conversation, Texas Tech is going to get their fair share of a conversation. But let it be known, like these last 4 weeks of the Big 12 conference is going to do wonders in this bracket, by the way. Like that's going to shape up quite literally 5 through 12, possibly 4 through 12.
It's going to determine whether the Big 12 gets 2 bids. Also
that, because I've thought about it as a possibility. But if we live in a world where there's 2 Big 12 bids over like another SEC team, I think it's very possible because like these teams have looked good.
Yeah.
It's impressive. I love Sataki. I apologize for keep waiting on you guys to lose, but yeah, I don't know. They just keep winning.
Yes,
I don't know.
Like last year.
Pretty much. Still a tough schedule awaits though, but as it stands right now, yeah, that's my projected champ, and I have them at 7. I'll go to number 8, where I have the head-to-heads kind of start butting heads a little bit. I have number 8 at Georgia. They get an extra week, obviously, to prepare for whatever this interim coach at Florida is going. I don't even know who the interim coach is. Is it?
I saw it. I'll have to look it up.
I have no idea. But we're either getting a dead cat bounce or we're getting a mass murder in Jacksonville. 0 in between.
Is there a possibility of both of those things happening?
Could be true. You know how these SEC games rivalries go.
Billy Gonzalez.
So. Okay.
Wide receivers.
Coach. Oh, okay. Yeah. Never mind. We're good. Yeah. They're at my 8. If Gunner keeps it up, I think there's a chance that he's in the talks of a finalist. I don't really think he's there quite yet. It depends on how he plays these last few games, and if he gets his team to Atlanta, for that matter. But if they get to the playoff as a 4, or even I can't imagine them being higher than a 4 personally. But if they do get there as a top 4, I think it's hard to leave him out of the talks personally. But again, as it stands right now, that's my 8.
I have Alabama at 5. Same things you said. They've handled business. Whether it looks good or not, they've handled it since the Florida State loss. But the Florida State loss still happened. So I'm not going to put you ahead of some of these ranked teams that have beaten undefeated teams that have beat ranked teams and have looked good in those wins. So Alabama at 5. They have the opportunity to be as high as 2 or 3, depending on what continues to happen outside of their control. This one will raise some eyebrows. I have Georgia at 6, head-to-head mostly, but they've looked good. Mm-hmm. Like even in that Bama game, they had a post-win expectancy over 50. They kind of dominated the second half. Like Bama didn't score. They look good outside of that 4th down that they went for and didn't get. Like you're probably going to overtime. So I think Georgia's looked really good. I think they're on par with Bama. Yes, this isn't the Georgia team that we know and we remember, but it's a damn good Georgia team, and they're going to keep getting better with the young talent that they have.
Still Kirby. Yep.
Yeah. And Georgia Tech is my 7, and the biggest thing I know Georgia Tech's undefeated. I know Georgia has a loss. I think Georgia has looked better and has beaten more quality teams than Georgia Tech has, and that's
For
no
sure.
shot on Georgia Tech, but they play each other. So guess what? When they play each other and we're still at the same records, you just flop them. You flip-flop them, and it's perfect. Do I think Georgia Tech can beat Georgia? Absolutely. So I think it's very minuscule. I think these 5 through 8 are very minuscule. And then at number 8, I have Ole Miss. I have Ole Miss ahead of Oregon. I think they've looked ultra competitive in every game they've played in. They ran out of gas against Georgia. It's hard to ask your offense to go score 50. Like, the defense is a problem, but it depends on what offense you play. And at the end of the day, playoffs are about matchups. If you can get a team like Oklahoma, that Ole Miss can beat that team. They just cannot hang with the high-powered offenses, it seems like, this year, which is different than last year. But I think they've been impressive. They beat Oklahoma. At the Wazoo game, I kind of throw out just because I think they were just preparing for Georgia. They were competitive with Georgia. Who's the other game that they played? There was one I'm missing.
Like just
LSU
recently?
game.
Okay.
LSU game, throttled Tulane. Yeah, they could have lost Arkansas, Kentucky early in the year. I think they've shown enough for me now to put them top 8. So that is my 8.
For sure. Yeah, I'll include Ole Miss here. They're my 9. Got to give props to Kiffin. First ranked win on the road in conference play. That Oklahoma wins is going to be a staple for that program, really. Definitely solidified. Yeah, definitely solidified a spot for sure, given that what's left on the schedule at least, which is very manageable, I must say. I think the most impressive part is how, with all the buzz that's been going on, it's just like knowing how Kiffin is, like the goal doesn't change with this guy. Like he's just like so like this. Like
Yep.
there's zero thing. And yeah, as a coach, I love him. I love his interviews. I love him as a guy. He's been awesome. So I have them at 9. I think it's well deserving. And again, they could very well keep moving up, honestly. I think it's one of those teams you have to watch out for. And number 10, my non-biased pick is going to be Notre Dame. The future of the program as a whole, as far as joining a conference, is definitely uncertain, of course, because a lot of people want to include them in Big Ten talks. A lot of people say that they might as well just join the ACC within the contract. The one thing that is not certain for sure is the placement in the playoff if it gets to 10 wins. Because if they do, despite only one win over a top 25 team, the committee's not going to put, I don't think, in my opinion at least, a 9-win SEC and 9-win Big 12, especially if it's Vanderbilt maybe, over Notre Dame if they went out. Personally, I just can't see it happening. That's my guess and assumption as of right now. What are you doing, 9 through 12? Or are you just going to stop there and then the final 2, or what?
Do you want me to do 9 and 10?
Go for it. Yeah, let's do 9 and 10.
9's Oregon. Same things you said. I just have them a step below Ole Miss. Yeah. Not going to go too deep into that one. 10, Vandy.
Okay.
Look, they are 7-1. They haven't dominated, but they have looked very good in the ranked games that they've played this year. They throttled South Carolina on the road. They have every opportunity to go 11-1. They have every opportunity to go 10-2. Sure. I think at 10-2, Vandy makes playoff. There's not a world where 10-2 Vandy doesn't make it. So they're impressive. I think they have a very good offensive system. And I'm going to push back a little bit on the Diego Heisman talk. I don't think his stat line isn't there. I think Haynes King's better. So if we're going to talk about, that kind of stuff, let's put Haynes up there. Dan Orlovsky putting Diego at 1 is ridiculous. Let's calm down. He's not even the top. He's not a top 3 QB right now. I'm putting Mendoza above him. I'm putting Haynes King. I'm putting Ty Simpson. I'm putting those guys. But 10, Vandy, very good team. very high expectations. Known Vandy hater to my right.
Oh, come on. I have them at 11.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I think this is the SEC's 15. I think this is what we're looking at. I think I'm pretty confident on that.
We'll see
It's
how it shakes out.
very well could be decided between that last game.
Yes.
But
Could be.
which I must say would probably put the world into flames. Within others, of course.
I'm not talking about that game yet.
But yeah, as of right now, again, as it stands, I think it's very hard not to put them where they're at. I think they're very deserving of what they've done. Scrappy win again. They just get by. Clark, he's got these guys ready for these kind of games, and they've came out and they've shown a lot. So I'm excited to watch them play the rest of the way. My group of 5, I would hope it's the same after this week. Very well could be different. It is Memphis, though. This team is nuts, dude. That game was
fun.
Phenomenal. If you guys didn't watch that, and if you thought that North Texas USF game was game of the year, you completely missed out. That was a game. 17 unanswered in the fourth, and what we thought was the table runner for the group of 5, and Sutton Smith and Brennan Lewis, these guys kind of say, excuse me. So 4 more wins and they're going to be in the league title game, and next thing you know, they're in a play-in opportunity. So I'd look for this team to be playing in December. As of right now, again, they're the front runner though. And again, this is one of those spots that is very much so subject to change within the next 4 weeks as well, because you have Navy North Texas, which is this week, very big game. That's 7-0 versus a 7-1. South Florida, unfortunately, I think is pretty much eliminated at this point. So yeah, Memphis, Tulane, JMU is up there now making some noise. Navy is still undefeated, although that they still play some really tough games, which is more than likely not going to stay. But again, it's a group of 5, so there's some noise to be created for sure. But yeah, that's my 11 and 12.
12, Memphis. Yes, I think they will be able to run the table, and well, we'll see. Potentially run the table. As of right now, at this moment, I would put Memphis as my group of 5. I think it's really close between them, Tulane, Navy, JMU. I think they all have arguments. So, but most impressive win so far out of all the group of 5 teams. My 11 is Miami.
Chat, he did it on purpose.
I did not. You have to. I gotta respect the head-to-head.
I get it.
And they have one less loss. They have the head-to-head. I get it. But look, they lost to the 16th best team according to the AP poll, which is a joke. So I'm not even going to really reference that. But they lost to a top 20 SP Plus team. Yes, it was at home. Yes, they were. Look, if they price that game correctly, and it's not 14 points, and it's not 7, as bad as what it should have been, it's not as bad. So I think the loss wasn't as bad. They went and handled business against Stanford. There's a very good chance they run the rest of the table, and they're in the conference championship game, barring Virginia somehow winning out, which frauds. I don't even want to talk about them. But yeah, they have to win out. Personally, I don't think a 10-2 Miami gets in. So with the losses that they'll have, but
this is scary for the ACC.
ACC is in danger territory of having a really, really weird conference championship game that could result in only get
ugly.
Well, it's the danger scenario is Georgia Tech, Virginia.
Right. I'm referring to Virginia as well. Yeah.
With Miami also going 11-1 and Louisville going 11-1 and potentially only getting one team in because your strength of schedule sucks. So that is a problem that they're going to have. I'll do my first 4 out while I'm talking. My number 1 out is Texas Tech. They've been impressive. I think they're very good. Just unfortunate that you lost the game that you lost. You just need to bounce back. I think they have every opportunity to go 11-1. If they go 11-1, they're in. So there's that. Virginia's my number 2 out. Sadly, I think they're frauds, but they're 7-1. They've somehow won games. They beat Louisville. So they have been impressive enough to be top 14. Notre Dame's 3. At the end of the day, if they win out and go 10-2, they're in the playoff. I don't see a world where they're not. They're probably the 11, just with the losses. The interesting thing would be if Miami goes 11-1 and Notre Dame's 10-2, who they take with the head-to-head. That would be the one thing I would be scared of if I'm a Notre Dame fan. And then Cincy's my 4. Crazy that 3 Big 12 teams were my top 16, but I have Cincy just ahead of Tennessee. I think Cincy's just been more impressive. Lose first game, you go out and win 7 straight. Gotta be top 16 for me.
Yeah, I'm skeptical about a first 4 because I want to be too careful. Miami is definitely up there. I don't really have these in necessarily any order in particular because I don't really think the order, I don't want to say matters. But Miami, I guess, would relatively be my number 1 if we had to. Number 2 would definitely probably be Texas Tech if they are up there as well. And now I got to think because the teams that I wanted to put as the other 2 final spots aren't necessarily ones that I feel like would be, I don't want to say deserving, because if I'm not mistaken, how do these work in terms of bowl projections? Are these first 4 outs, they're guaranteed to New Year's 6 still, correct?
Yes. They're the other New Year's 6 bowls, barring conference tie-ins.
Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm. So like highest ACC team not in the playoff gets New Year's 6. Highest SEC team not in the playoff gets New Year's 6.
Okay.
Same with Big 12, same with Big 10.
Right. Daggone. I don't know, man. It's hard to just...
It's jumbled. It's hard.
It really is. It's hard to... I don't want to say a mock for a first 4 out because the first 4 could very much so be a part of that in the scenario in about a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on how
Virginia,
it goes.
Virginia, Louisville, Cincinnati.
There's so many you could put.
Houston, Tennessee, Miami, Notre Dame, Tech, Oklahoma still has a chance. You know, Texas is still there. Michigan is still there.
Yeah.
USC, Utah. Like, the whole top 25 is still alive. Memphis, obviously, is alive. Navy, Tulane, Washington has a chance. Iowa has a chance. So, yeah, it's hard.
You guys know.
There you go. I just named the entire top 25, so.
True. But, yeah. I think it's pretty much all we have, though.
It is. A little playoff session.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing to scream at or be
hopefully not
angry about. Hopefully. I think we're pretty on par in terms of a mock. We weren't like crazy far off from each other for that matter.
No, and I mean, I think
one team that was like in versus out, and they were just like a different order. Everything else was just a different order. So
I'm just not a biased Notre Dame fan.
Meh.
They beat you.
I know. Yeah, nothing else to really do. Anything about this point? If you have anything else to add, we'll close her out.
I'll see you guys Wednesday for some previews.
True. Another good week. How about game day going to the Big 12? Golly.
Thank God.
True. A couple of big games this weekend, though. So, yeah, I'll be on the lookout. We have a lot of good games this weekend, actually. We have a little bit to go over. So, yeah, we will see you guys for the preview, whether that be potentially as early as Wednesday/Thursday morning, whenever that is uploaded. You will know. So we'll keep it at that. Other than that, that is the week 9 recap. Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, God. And yeah, we'll see you guys later on this week. Peace.